Welcome to a brand new season of the International GTOpen. We start at the Hungaroring circuit. Fantastic to be here. Exciting grid coming up for you. Some exciting new faces, some exciting returning ones as well, all making it set to be a fantastic season. They can see it's going to be a 70-minute race, driver change happening between 28 and 42 minutes. It's hot here in Hungary, 31 degrees. Chris McCarthy here trackside for you. An absolute pleasure to be here calling the action for the first round of this historic season. It's the 15th annual season of the International GTOpen. Very excited to get this one underway. There you can see we're on board with the number 59, Miguel Ramos. He is going to be with his countryman Enrique Chavez. The Teo Martin Motorsport squad, they start from 5th place in this one and 11th as well with Marcelo, Hahn and Kodair in the Pro-Am class. Brilliant qualifying session it was earlier. We actually had a Pro-Am team qualify on pole position. We'll talk a little bit more about them in just a second. But first of all, let's talk about some of the stories coming into this season. 3 classes if you're new to International GTOpen. We have a Pro class, we have a Pro-Am class, and we also have an Am class as well. Pro drivers in Pro, Am drivers in Am, one of each in the Pro-Am class. 7 manufacturers represented in the championship this year. There's one of the very exciting ones. It's going to be great to see, the Bentley Continental GT. 5 different manufacturers are going to be represented in the Pro class. Now, some of the big stories, we have the returning multiple champions of AF Course. They're actually the most successful team this championship has ever seen. In terms of teams championships, they have won 4. So very successful. Great to see them back. There you can see the AF Corsa team. Big name within motorsport, isn't it? Of course, we all know what they get up to in the likes of FI World Endurance Championship. Now, Louis Pret and Vincent Abril are in that number 17 car, and they qualified at 3rd place for this one. So brilliant to see that happen for those guys. So they're back, which is great to see. We also have Imperial Racing, who have come back as well after a year's absence. They've come back for a full assault again this year. They were the champions in both 2017 and 2018 as well. Now, they've kind of taken the place of Imperial Racing. They won the championship last year. Very close run championship. It was as well, wasn't it? And Imperial Racing are going to be back again this year, which is going to be fantastic to see. Then we have the likes of TF Sport, who have come back. Now TF Sports have brought with them Sally Ulick and Charlie Eastwood. So the Aston Martin is going to be very well represented this year. It did take a win last year, let's not forget. It took the 200th win the championship has ever seen, and the Red Bull Ring was very lucky to be there for that one. They're going to start in 10th place, so a slightly disappointing qualifying by their standards. You know, Sally and Charlie, they've taken 3 wins so far this season in the World Endurance Championship. They're 2nd in the championship there, but they're going to be in 10th place. So let's see how they go throughout the weekend. That's another exciting team that we have coming with us. Then we have Team Lazarus, who have switched across from the Lamborghini to the Bentley Continental. Now, it's not hard to miss, is it? You would have seen it going around on a warm-up lap just a little bit earlier. They qualified in 2nd place and 7th. Very good driver lineup for them. They've got Fabrizio Crestani, a champion in this series. He's going to be on the front row with Yannick Mettler, who did qualifying earlier. And then on row number 4, 7th place, Stefano Coletti and Petru Razvan. Stefano Coletti, he's raced in pretty much everything there is except for Formula 1, hasn't he? He's gone all the way up to GP2, tested F1, and then he raced in the IndyCar series as well as a variety of other things. One driver who did race in F1 is our pole sitter, Christian Clean there. He's going to start this one from pole position. Very exciting to see him. He comes with the brand new team. They've pretty much just set themselves up, and they've gone and taken pole position in the Mercedes-AMG GT3. Pro-Am is all about Mercedes versus McLaren. JP Motorsport are one of the teams in that Mercedes. We'll go through the rest of them as we run through the grid. There we had a quick look at Lazarus Racing. They're going to be starting from second. Yannick Mettler and Fabrizio Crestani in for them. Then we go to AF Corsa. Louis Pret and Vincent Ambril will be in for them. Great to see the Bentley Continental on the front row, by the way, with Lazarus, because the Bentley has never had a full season in this championship. So we're going into the unknown. It's never been highly represented. It is now, and it's on the front row. Let's see how they do. We looked at AF Corsa. Now we looked at Optimum Motorsport, who have gone for the McLaren this year. So they've had a change in the car that they're going to run. They've gone over to the McLaren, and so far so good. Fourth for them and second in Pro-Am class. Ollie Milroy doing a fantastic job for them in qualifying. Miguel Ramos comes into his 10th consecutive season. Miguel Ramos wants to try and add to the 30 wins and 59 podiums that he's had. He has Enrique Chavez alongside. Miguel Ramos switching across from SPS Automotive to Teo Martin. Fabian Schiller and Max are in for Get Speed Motorsport Performance. German team, German manufacturer for German drivers. Doesn't get any more German than that, does it? Here is Stefano Coletti. He's going to be starting the race for Lazarus Racing. Mostly, he's only really raced single-seaters, isn't he? He's not done a huge amount away from that. Let's see how he gets on, and really wants to put his name back on the map. Stefano Coletti is one of those names that we all remember. What he's been up to over the last year or two, I couldn't quite tell you, but he's here now. Olymp Racing, they've traded in that Audi R8 that they ran last year, and they've now switched over to the Mercedes AMG GT3. Again, they're in the Pro-Am class. It's Mercedes versus McLaren in that class. This is Optimum Motorsport, who are with the McLaren. They brought in both Ollie Milroy and James Pickford as well. James Pickford used to race in the British touring cars many years ago, so great to see him here racing in International GTOpen. This is TF Sport, Sally Ulick and Charlie Eastwood. Sally's going to be starting the race. Sally did race with us, actually, back in 2015 and 2016, I believe it was. Took a few wins during that time as well, and a number of podiums. Didn't get on a championship podium though. Might hope to do that this year. Then we come to Marcelo, Hahn and Alan Kodair. They finished 5th in the championship, I believe it was last year, and they're going to be hoping to go 3 or 4 better this time. This is that Get Speed Performance team we were on about. We've got all German lineup in for them across both cars. Florian Schultz and Jens Liebhauser in that second car. Let's see how they get on. The only Porsche in the field is going to be Nicky Luttweiler, the reigning champion in GTOpen. He's going to start this one from 13th place, so representing that Porsche very well. We come to another Mercedes. This is the HDP team. We've got Marcus Sattler and Nico Bastian in for them. This is the Pro-Am class. Leading AM driver, by the way, is Florian Schultz. Should probably mention that at the time. It's taken a while to get here, but it's time to go racing in the 15th annual season of the International GTOpen. And the track is being cleared, the cars are fired up, and any second now we're going to see them go off onto the roll-up lap. We've got onboards in with a few drivers, one of those being Miguel Ramos, starting his 10th season in the International GTOpen. Let's see how he can get up. 17 teams entered for this. Let's run through how they line up for you. Christian Klein in the Pro-Am class is going to be on overall pole position with Yannick Mettler alongside in the number 26 Lazarus Racing Bentley. Then we have on row number 2 AF Corsa with Louis Pret starting the race on Optimum Motorsports. Ollie Milroy on row number 3. Miguel Ramos is going to be in first for Teo Martin Motorsport. Fabian Schiller in for Get Speed, the third of the Pro-Am teams. Then on row 4 Lazarus Racing, Stefano Coletti in to start that one with Olymp Racing, Mateusz Lizowski. Rounding out the top 10, James Pickford, ex-BTC driver, with Sally Ulick, who is going to be starting alongside, of course, a World Endurance Championship winner. Row number 6 you would have seen there, that was Marcelo, Hahn and Florian Schultz for Teo Martin and Get Speed. Row 7, Nicky Luttweiler and Marcus Sattler. And then the drivers we didn't see on the grid, we've got Philip Pret for AF Corsa, their AM entry, ARC Bratislava's Miro Konopka, and then for AKM Motorsport, Alexei Nezov. Now they are being supported by champions Antonelli Motorsport, so they've got very good back in there with that Mercedes AMG GT3. Don't forget the driver changes start at 28 minutes, from 28 minutes to 42 minutes. That's when we're going to see the driver swaps happening. 17-minute race it is. It's a long one, plenty of time for things to change. And really looking forward to seeing how this one goes on. There's that only Porsche we have out there with Nicky Luttweiler, with a team name that will take me quite a long time to say in full. Look at the Bentley, it just looks massive, doesn't it, next to that Ferrari 488 GT3. But this is its first full run, its first full season, and it's going to be really interesting to see how that goes. So we've got some new faces, we've got some returning faces, and then we've got some drivers in the likes of Teo Martin Motorsport who won that championship win. They came so close to winning last year, all for Emil Frey to take first and second in the championship. They're not with us this year, but their place has been filled in that Mercedes by the likes of, we've got several teams out there in the Mercedes, but their place has been filled by several teams. Mercedes could be a strong contender to go and take the win again. This is Miguel Ramos we go on board with for Teo Martin Motorsport. Want to take that win. On the front row, though, it's going to be Christian Klein for JP Motorsport, and then the lead pro driver of Yannick Mettler in the Bentley of Lazarus Racing. What's going to happen in International GTOpen in 2020? Who knows? We're very close to finding out, though, as the cars now head up towards the final corner to get underway. It's going to be Christian Klein for brand new JP Motorsport, and Lazarus Racing, the returning faces, with Yannick Mettler in the Bentley Continental. Safety car comes in. 70 minutes are on the clock. The clock is going to start ticking anytime soon. The green flag will be waved, and we'll be off away and racing in 2020. Round the final corner they come. To the right of screen will be Lazarus Racing, and to the left, ex-Formula 1 driver Christian Klein for JP Motorsport, and we are off away and racing, and it's a good start for Lazarus Racing. They may be able to take the lead going in towards turn number 1 here. Christian Klein having to defend both left and right. The other Bentley trying to come down the inside there as well. It's a brilliant start from Stefano Coletti. Oh no, we've got a bit of an instant one car going round. One of the drivers going round. We've got drivers going left and right to try and avoid it, but just about hanging on to the lead, I think, is Christian Klein as they now make their way round turn number 2. Really unfortunate to see an instant at the start of the season, but that is the situation. But what a fantastic start it has been from Stefano Coletti to get himself up to 3rd place. We go on board here with Miguel Ramos, who currently sits in 4th place as they come through the left-hander for the first time. Now down towards turn number 5 we go. You can see positions on screen for you, but a real shame that we've had an incident at the start of the race. One of the teams being turned around, and that was James Pickford, unfortunately, who found himself facing the wrong way before he'd even gone through one corner. Food being made in the background there by one of the Mercs as we head through the chicane for the first time. But out front, it is Christian Klein who's leading the way. Then it's Stefano Coletti who's now made his way up into 2nd place. Yannick Mettler sits in 3rd. So a brilliant start from Stefano Coletti. Oh, that doesn't look good, does it? That's the number 72 of James Pickford. So he wasn't even the driver that was facing the wrong way. Number 17 of Louis Pret has had an absolute disaster from row number 2. Hopefully we'll get a replay of this in just a second to work out exactly how that all went down. There's Fabian Schiller, I can see, in the bright yellow Mercedes, trying to make his way up into 6th place. He's hassling the back of Ollie Milroy at the moment in the number 7 as the cars make their way now down towards turn number 1. This for the first time in racing, full racing mode. Leading Christian Klein, and 2nd and 3rd there, the 2 Bentleys. Oh, and getting it all wrong under brakes, almost tagging the back of one of the McLarens there. That was the number 11 of Fabian Schiller, also going straight, almost going straight into the back of Teo Martin's Marcelo Hahn, but just about gets away with it and gets the move done in the process. We go back and have a look at the number 22, the only Porsche there of Nicky Luttweiler, as cars making their way uphill now. Christian Klein leading by a second, making out 1.3 over Stefano Coletti. The Lazarus machine, Lazarus 2 and 3. Miguel Ramos, Teo Martin Motorsport in 4th. Marcelo Hahn in 5th place. Fabian Schiller trying to make his way up the order. He is in 6th place for Get Speed Performance in the Mercedes. Just behind that then is Ollie Milroy in the number 7 machine for Optimum Motorsport, who are in the McLaren this year as they make their way now round through turns 7, 8 and 9. Optimum Motorsport, who's traded in that Aston Martin to run that McLaren this year. Let's see how they go. They did take a race win, of course, at Red Bull Ring last year. Looking left though, looking right. That's Fabian Schiller down the inside of Marcelo Hahn, and he goes through. So that's going to be second now in class for Fabian Schiller. It could get worse here for Hahn, with Ollie Milroy trying to have a look up the inside. Ollie Milroy filling the mirrors there of Hahn. Around the final corner they go. We've got a little bit of a queue forming here behind, and Nicky Lookweiler as well, GTOpen Cup champion. He's got Pret behind him, who's made a good start for Lee Pret. Sally Ulick not able to go higher up the order here. He'll be very disappointed to stay in 10th with all the incidents. He's almost dropped backwards in effect, isn't he? So not going well for Sally Ulick so far. Marcus Settler in 11th, Florian Schultz is 12th, and it's Lizowski, Mosey, Konopka, Louis Pret and James Pickford. That's how they line up. The latter two of those, unfortunately, not going any further. Real disaster for Louis Pret, the AF Corsa car, who is unfortunately out of the race early doors. James Pickford likewise. They're going to be trying to recover back to pit lane, but could be an early end to them. And, a disastrous start to the 15th annual season of the International GT Open. We'll get into the stages now where the race will start to settle down, if you like. 59 there of Miguel Ramos, being caught by very fast starting Fabian Schiller. He's absolutely on fire at the moment, is Schiller here. Started in 6th place. We'll hand over to Max when they do their driver change. On board we go with Miguel Ramos now, coming through turn 11, and he'll make his way downhill towards turn number 12. Miguel Ramos can see the top 3 ahead of him. He can see those 2 Lazarus cars just ahead of him. We'll be hoping to chase those down now. As just in the background here, we've got the battle going on here between the likes of Ollie Milroy and Marcelo Hahn. Look at Schiller, he's already on the back of Miguel Ramos here. We may have a good onboard of Fabian Schiller trying to go off into the distance of Miguel Ramos very shortly, because Fabian Schiller absolutely flying as they head their way now down towards turn number 1. It's the 2 cars in the background that we could have a look at here. This is the number 26 of Yannick Mettler, Stefano Coletti just ahead of him. But in the background, look at the bright yellow machine there of Fabian Schiller. He's trying to put a move now on Miguel Ramos. What does Miguel Ramos do here? Does he go defensive, or does he let that Mercedes go through? This is second in Pro-Am, trying to get past third in the Pro class. Leading AM driver, by the way, is Lookweiler. Considering he's the only Porsche out there, it's, I have to say that's slightly unexpected. But nevertheless, doing a great job. Up towards the chicane. Oh, that's going to be brave, and he's through. I wonder if he was let through there, actually, by the 59 of Miguel Ramos. Might have been a sensible decision, because you start a battle and could end in tears or just delay you, but he'll now look to tag in behind Fabian Schiller, who tries to chase down both Yannick Mettler and Stefano Coletti ahead. And look at the gap already that Fabian Schiller's been able to pull there over Miguel Ramos. Let's have another look at this move then. And it looked like that was move done there, basically, and that was very sensible driving, I have to say, from Miguel Ramos, because if the move happens into the chicane, we had Fabian Schiller diving down the inside to the chicane. The amount of time that Miguel Ramos would lose would be a lot more than if he just get on the brakes quickly, let him through, tuck him behind. So the experience of Miguel Ramos showing there. Let's look in the background though. This is just behind all this. We've got the number 16 here of Marcelo Hahn and the number 7 of Ollie Milroy. There's another little battle going on. Ollie Milroy has been brought into that team for this year. he and James Pickford. Let's have another look at the start then. So a very delayed start there for the Ultimate Motorsport car on row 2. This is where it's all going to go off. Ah, there we go. Well, it was the driver on row number 3, wasn't it? And that caused all the chaos there. And there we can see, well, that was one team. I think that was incredibly happy with the move made. The Teo Martin team there, very happy with that one. But I wouldn't like to pin that on anyone. But looked like one of the McLarens to me that went tumbling down the inside. I wouldn't like to say it was Miguel Ramos, but there was definitely one team that flew down the inside of everyone, and that just caused an absolute pile-up. I wouldn't like to say it was James Pickford either, because he's out of the race, but we'll have a little bit more investigating into that one. We have had a note from the stewards to say that that the incident in the first lap will, after an investigation, no car was promptly at fault, so no further action on that first lap, but one of the cars definitely was flying down the inside of all of them, and that's where the contact started. And unfortunately, a chain reaction then basically set off, and one thing led to another. We eventually had a car facing the wrong way, but I think it's one of the cars that's actually out of the race now. That started it. Oh, that's a bad move. That's the number 44, isn't it, of Florian Schultz, who has essentially turned round Marcus Sattler there, and that's just happened. So not a good bit of driving that from Florian Schultz for Get Speed Performance there, who has fortunately turned the drive around, and we've got that's I think the instant that's just flashing on my timing screen now. It's brought out the yellow flags at that part of the track, so Marcus Sattler is going to lose a lot of time there, if not some positions as well. We return to this battle, the continuing battle between the number 16 of Hahn and the number 7 of Milroy. This is for 3rd in class, so quite a significant battle. Don't forget, we've got pit stops coming up as well, which will happen. In Pro-Am, you're either going to be handing to the Pro driver or handing to the Am driver, and then that's where things really do change. For Milroy, that will certainly be a case of handing to the Am driver as they make their way now downhill towards turn number 12. Christian Klein, his gap is just under 4 seconds, isn't it, give or take, over Stefano Coletti. Fastest lap has gone to Fabian Schiller, who is absolutely flying, isn't he? He's closing the gap now to Stefano Coletti. Here's Fabian Schiller. I think we know what the situation is in that car. That's going to be very much a handing to an Am driver job, isn't it? As down the start-finish straight, you can see flashing of the headlights there for Fabian Schiller. About to get past Stefano Coletti here, and I wonder if Coletti is going to fight him hard or just let him go through. Could even start putting some pressure on Christian Klein, this, as well as overall position. It's Pro-Am positions as well. So more importantly, it's the overall win that they're going to be disputing as they make their way downhill. And now up towards turn number 4 we go. I think he may wait for it's this corner here that Fabian Schiller made his last move. Very much let through by Miguel Ramos on that occasion. Let's see if he's going to try once again. Fill the mirrors of Coletti. Tucks back in though as they now hop over the chicane. It's now for the 7th time of asking. Still under investigation. Here's an incident between Schultz and Zalski there. That was at turn 14, so that was at the final corner. So we actually haven't seen any footage of that one just yet. Schiller getting in the mirrors of Coletti once more. Brilliant start from Stefano Coletti. I don't think he would have expected to be up in 2nd place so soon. So after the first lap, but here we go, a bit of side-by-side now. Fabian Schiller just trying to avoid going into the side of Stefano Coletti there. I don't think the Monegasque driver is going to fight him too hard here as they come around the final corner. Onto the start-finish straight we go. And Schiller, can he get the run? The Bentley seems to have the edge on him going down the straight though. And Schiller, this could become quite difficult for him to make a move now. Coletti has the legs down the straight. and Schiller definitely throughout the rest of the lap is the quicker driver. Let's go through, just while we're watching this, just some of the field behind. So Miguel Ramos, Hahn, Milroy, Leutwiler, Ulick, Lisowski, Pret, Schultz, Sattler, Moiseev, Konopka, and then our two retirees, our first lap retirees, sadly. But uphill they come one more time through the left-hander. In the background, if these guys are to start battling, then well, the other Lazarus car is going to close in. Almost a bit of contact there once more. Schiller just poking a nose up the inside there of Coletti. Door kind of surprisingly opened up for him. I don't think he was expecting that to happen either. Now, is this going to be one of the incidents we saw? This is the number 48 and the number 5 that we're looking at. Mateusz Lisowski going past Philip Pret. That is for second in the AM class, that as well. Nicky Leutwiler remains our race leader in AM. For the run-off and a bit more there from Fabian Schiller. Got to be careful of that one. We saw the effects that that can have in the GT Cup Open Europe race earlier. There you can see Coletti, the biggest mover in the field. Leutwiler, another big mover. Oh no, Coletti round. Now, was he helped there? Or was that a mistake, a rare mistake from Stefano Coletti? He's turned round, and Stefano Coletti's now going to have to try and get back going again without invading the path of anyone else behind. So Coletti, round he goes, and Schiller goes into second place. I wouldn't like to force any blame on Schiller, but it looks like a mistake maybe there from Stefano Coletti. Let's have a look at the rear of the car. There's no... Well, I don't know if that was just my eyes deceiving me, but it looked like there was any obvious damage. But then again, I think it was, if it was a heavy hit, we would have seen it first time. But Schiller into second place then. Where's Coletti? Is that going to leave him? I believe he's going to be in 10th, yes. Well, no, 11th. He still hasn't crossed the line yet. Has he come to pit lane? We'll have to wait and see, but I think he is actually going to be 12th place. Let's have a look then. This is a much better angle, isn't it? As round they come. Oh yeah, he was helped round. 100% he was helped round there. Gap seemed to open up on the inside, and there you can see Schiller turned him round. So, well, that's surely going to be under investigation, and hasn't come up just yet that he has, but this was the view from, this was Miguel Ramos, and there you can see a stricken Stefano Coletti to the left, and what a shame that was, because he was the joint biggest mover out there. This is the number 13 that we have a look at now. This is Alexander Moiseev, who's being chased down there by Miro Konopka in the background. These are the last two of our runners. Battle for what is actually 4th in AM class. And if anything's to go wrong ahead, it could open up to be a battle for 3rd in terms of class. Christian Kleen here has, well, when Schiller, I think when the news was delivered to him that Schiller was on the move, Christian Kleen decided to start pushing at full pace again, and his gaps opened up to 8 seconds. So brilliant driving from Christian Kleen, but does it surprise us? Not really. You know, it was a real headline story when he put his entry in for the championship. XF1 driver coming in to take part, and more than that, he's achieved a huge amount in his career. Podium finisher at the Le Mans 24-hour was Christian Kleen. A hugely successful career, but we're not looking at him at the moment, so let's change subject for the time being. And this is Hahn versus Milroy, the two drivers who can't seem to get away from each other. That's bad news for Hahn and Milroy in a way, as all down the inside into the chicane. That's brave and good driving, good respectful driving from Marcelo. Hahn gave him the space, and I think he deservedly crossed the chicane there to stay in front. Good driving from both drivers there. No incident made. Now we have a penalty for Fabian Schiller. 10-second time penalty to be added to his race time for causing a collision. Well, I think he'll take that given what happened. I thought we may actually see him come into pit lane, but it didn't look like he meant it, so I guess a 10-second penalty is deserved in the end. He just saw a gap on the inside and put himself there, and unfortunately it resulted in him being turned round. But here goes Milroy looking to the outside here now as they come through the final corner. Down the start-finish straight we go. Hahn just about holding on to this for the time being. This is for the last podium spot in the Pro-Am class, and it could become more than that with Schiller having that 10-second time penalty. Milroy trying to put Hahn into a mistake. Hahn, who finished 5th in the championship last year. Down in towards turn number 2 they come. Milroy, a new addition, who has been brought in there as one of 2 pro drivers, along with James Pickford. As they make their way now up towards the left-hander, through the left-hander they go. We jump on board just a little bit up the road from this. We jump on board with Miguel Ramos as he flicks his way now through this chicane. Ahead of him is Yannick Mettler. This gap is starting to come down, and this is actually for the lead in class. These 2 are the lead pro drivers in class. Got that Bentley Continental GT just up ahead of us. This is Teo Martin chasing down Lazarus Racing. Downhill braking zone now into T12, and starting to get quicker and quicker, that Miguel Ramos car. Sooner or later we're actually going to see driver swaps happening, and we're not a million miles away from that now. Between 28 and 42 minutes is when they can do that, so that slot will open up in around 8 minutes time. Down the start-finish straight. Let's look at last lap times then. And Miguel Ramos, well, they're fairly evenly matched. 146.3, 146.1 it is for Ramos. Behind this, though, there is a... this is where it's definitely a little bit closer, isn't it, between Milroy and Hahn, in reverse order, that is. Now, Sally Ulick is starting to make some positions now. He has gone up to 7th. In terms of his lap, so 146.4 last time. That is almost 2 seconds slower than Christian Kleen, but in terms of the lead pro driver, which is Yannick Mettler, he's only 4 tenths slower than that. He'll hand to Charlie Eastwood when he does come into pit lane. Sally Ulick back with us once again. Did 2 seasons a little bit further back, and great to see him back. I believe it was 2015, 2016. We had Sally with us, and since then he's achieved a huge amount. Oh, over the curb there. This might be the opportunity, this for Milroy. He's going to try and go for it, and I think in the end has to back out of it, so sensibly perhaps, because we had Marcelo Hahn there, who was turning into that corner regardless. And look who's in the background. We've got that red TF Sport car closing in, the Aston Martin now starting to find its feet a little bit. Sally Ulick with it, gaining some confidence, I think. And he's going to go for this. And I think Milroy is seeing that in his mirrors, isn't he? Milroy, the second of the drivers in this queue, by the way. And he can see Sally Ulick getting closer. And Sally Ulick isn't on his own either. He's got Lizowski for him, with company there for Imperial Racing, who were in the Audi R8 last year. They've now traded that car in, and they've gone on the Mercedes-AMG GT3, which their AM driver was running last year. But they're now in the Audi R8. Well, they've switched in the Audi R8 and have the Mercedes for both classes this year. Miguel Ramos, there's Yannick Mettler ahead. Gap looks a little bit closer to me. Hand over to the young and up-and-coming Enrique Chavez. He comes into the pits as here goes Milroy. He's going to try and go all the way around the outside there. That's brave, but if you can do it, you have the inside into here, and that is move complete. Brilliant driving there from Ollie Milroy to get that move done on Marcelo Hahn, and he is now up into 5th place. It's taken him a long time to get there, but the next few laps are crucial now for Ollie Milroy. Now he's made this place, he's got to try and open up a gap. This is Sally Ulick under pressure from Mateusz Lizowski. This is for 7th place overall, 2 different classes. Sally in the Pro, Mateusz in the Pro-Am. They now head through turn 8 and in towards turn number 9. Oh, that's a great place to go for a move, but he's going to get it done. Wow, he caught me out, let alone Sally there. Mateusz Lizowski goes through. One of the moves of the day so far. That one's going to be hard to beat. Brilliant driving now from Mateusz Lizowski. Past Sally Ulick, and he now makes his way after Marcelo Hahn, who is in 6th place. Just behind us, by the way, is Nicky Luttweiler in the background there. You would have just seen him flash through screen. Nicky Luttweiler, the leading AM driver. This is a better view of the move we saw earlier. No, in fact, this is the same view. I was getting the two moves confused there. But that was the reaction from the team as Milroy got through and into 5th place. This is the other move we were talking about. A little bit of side-by-side, but there we can see that was Sally Ulick being passed by Mateusz Lizowski. Now, Ollie Milroy's task of climbing further into the top 5 is very difficult because, well, it is at the moment anyway, because 8 seconds is the gap to the driver we're on board with, which is Miguel Ramos. Ramos not far from 3rd place, is he? Leading pro driver. There he is, just ahead of us. That is Yannick Mettler in the number 26 Lazarus Racing Bentley. Fabian Schiller, although he's got that 10-second penalty, pace very impressive. He's stabilised the gap to Christian Klein, who's leading the way. 45 minutes and 44 seconds left on the clock in this one. Brilliant race so far. Let's talk a bit about Miguel Ramos. We're on board with him, the 48-year-old from Porto. Now, he is a champion in this series, 2015 GT3 Pro-Am champion. And he's won plenty others with that as well. He did race last year with SBS Automotive and raced alongside Fabrizio Crestani. Miguel Ramos makes his way out the final corner. He's a 2-time Spanish GT champion and Italian GT champion, Golf 12-hour champion as well. He's won plenty, and he'll want to add to those titles this year. He finishes where he is 70th podium in the championship. But drivers are starting to get themselves fired up now for driving swaps, which are going to start in just a couple moments' time. Oh, that's a little bit wide, isn't it? Just as I was bigging you up, Miguel. There you go, make a mistake. There we look at Mettler, who's now leading the way. Joining us for the first time at International GTOpen. Thank you, first of all, for being with us. It's a fantastic series to be a part of, and it's got some fairly big names through the years as well. Antonio Felix da Costa, one of them, whose brother is actually here working with Manuel Maldonado in the Euro Formula Open. And Duarte is definitely someone I need to catch up with. Augusto Farfus Jr., Esteban Guerreri, Ferdinand Habsburg, who's in DTM. Oh, we've got someone kicking up some dust there. Nick Tandy, and another one as well. There's Nelson Piquet Jr., Antonio Liuzzi. Plenty of big names bit through this series. Fantastic cars, fantastic tracks on the calendar as well. Hungaroring is first. We go to Paul Ricard afterward. Red Bull Ring, Monza, Spa, Catalunya. What a finish it was to the championship at Monza last year as well. Expecting something similar this year, as we see Hahn now under more pressure. He's had to deal with Milroy for a huge amount of time. Now Lizowski is the next. And you can see just next to, if you look at the top left hand of your screen, you can see we've got a green section, a green flag there really. That's any second now it's going to say that driver swaps can get underway. Miguel Ramos as well. He's I think he's the most successful driver we've had here. Won 3 races when we first came here in 2012. Won 3 races over between then and 2014. So that basically makes him the most successful driver that we've had around this track since we started coming here in 2012. So I've picked him up enough now. I can hear the voices saying it. let's talk about the actual battle that's going on. This is Lizowski versus Marcelo Hahn, another driver who has won round here in the past. This for 4th in class, though. We're about 15 seconds away, I think, from getting those driver swaps underway now. Approaching the 42-minute mark. Now, Hahn was very good at holding off Milroy for a number of laps. What's his approach going to be here? Is he going to try and go on the defensive again? And there you can see now we've hit the 28-minute mark. We have 14 minutes worth of driver swaps. Christian Klein is going to wait to the very end. I can tell you that for sure. Fabian Schiller, likewise, he's going to try and make up for that 10-second penalty that he is now incurred after turning round Stefano Coletti. Stefano Coletti is in 11th. Just as the driver swaps are about to get underway, there goes the first driver in, and that's Marcelo Hahn. I'm going to quickly run you through what the order was. It was Klein, Schiller, Mettler, Ramos, Milroy, Hahn, Lizowski, Ulick, Luttweiler, Schultz, Coletti, Pret, Sattler, Mosiv, Konopka, and then our 2 retirees, Louis Pret and James Pickford. So if you missed it, Stefano Coletti did get up to 2nd from 7th, turned round, and now he's trying to recover. But teams are now in. You can see we've got Fabrizio Crestani. He's come in to the pits. One of the first drivers in for the Lazarus Racing team. Or shall I say it was Yannick Mettler. Crestani's going to jump in that car and take over. Alan Kodair is going to jump in the number 16, so Marcelo Hahn's work for the day is done. Alan Kodair will jump in. Eastwood's going to jump in for Sally Ulick, so 26 is in. The number 16, Teo Martin Motorsport car is also in. TF Sport have come in. Nicky Luttweiler is driving on his own, so he'll stay in that car. Then we've got the number 47 in as well. Nico Bastian will jump in. Marcus Sattler will jump out. Also down the field, the number 13 is going to jump in as well. That's the AKM Motorsport car. Alexei Nezov will jump out, and Mosiv will jump in that car. They're being held by Antonelli Motorsport, so we expect him to definitely have some good performances this season. There's the number 88 of Christian Klein. Will be out for as long as possible as he's now going to approach some traffic. So this is the section of the race, the kind of 14 minutes where it's hard to know exactly who is where, but over these 14 minutes, eventually things, once everyone's been in, it will work itself out, and we'll see which pit stops are going well and which ones haven't. So Enrique Chavez is now going to be the man in this onboard. Enrique Chavez ready to jump in, and Miguel Ramos jumps out of that car. 48-year-old out, 23-year-old in. So Enrique Chavez, he's only had 1 win in the championship so far. We'll be hoping to add to that 7 podiums as well. But he's going into his 2nd season, debut season last year alongside Martin Kodrich. And they ended, that first win came in the last race of the season. They were the last winners. As let's have a look. What's going on here? Is this Miguel Ramos prepared? Oh, is he taking his seatbelt off there? I hope he hasn't done. Miguel Ramos knows a lot better than that, if that's what he has done. But he was definitely playing with something in the car there, wasn't he? We'll wait to see if any flashes on screen. It's our race leader we're looking at. Nice livery on that car, I have to say. TF Sport one is directly behind it, albeit a lap down. Charlie Eastwood's in that car though now, the Irishman, or the Northern Irishman, shall I say. Charlie Eastwood, number 4 in there. So that's going to be Miku Lasko who jumps in that car now. 38 minutes remaining on the clock, so some new drivers jumping in. As we said, that number 4 ARC Bratislava car was Konopka, who qualified earlier, and put them in a pretty decent spot, I have to say, as well. So we know who's in, we know who hasn't been in. Top 7 in terms of the standings so far haven't yet come into the pits. Christian Klein being one of those who wait to the final second, as will Schiller. I think Milroy will do the same. Mateusz Lizowski likewise. He's been going along pretty well. Schultz will stay out. Coletti has a little bit of catching up to do after he was turned around earlier in the race. Real shame for them. His debut in the championship. And Pret, I think, will also be another that may stay out. So this one of the other of our onboards. This is with Christian Kleen we are on board with. I was going to say the sun is kind of deflecting from where the drivers' names are. But our team in the truck helps us with that one. Christian Kleen is the driver we're on board with. Doing a brilliant job. Should we be surprised, really, given his credentials? Probably not. But, he was very chuffed earlier, given they're a brand new team, JP Motorsport. They've gone out and retracted some very good driver. Few winter transfers that we've had the transfer season, if you like. We've seen some teams swapping manufacturers, drivers swapping teams. Also some new faces coming in as well. One of those being Christian Kleen in that JP Motorsport car. When he does come in, he's going to hand over to Patrick Kropinski, his countryman. Oh, I say his countryman. It's going to be Patrick from Poland, the Polish team. Of course, Austrian. So he'll have a home race this year, which will be good to see. We'll be hoping to get a good result at Red Bull Ring as he makes his way now through the right-hander. Now that is Charlie Eastwood behind for TF Sports. So Charlie Eastwood, I believe this is actually his first race in the GTOpen as well. Definitely his first season for the 24-year-old. Podiums for him, basically what Sally Ulick has achieved in the last few years, he's achieved. Right, 44 is in. Florian Schultz will get out. Lee Pauser will jump in. That's the 44, the one of the leading AM cars. They're going to do their swap now. It's the Get Speed Performance car that is in. This is TF Sport. Charlie Eastwood just behind Christian Kleen. Now, I'd say that, you know, Charlie Eastwood's doing a good job here. He's holding on to Christian Kleen, not letting him get away, and he's got a really good. I mean, Charlie Eastwood, he couldn't have come out in a better place, could he? He's come out behind race leader, the quickest driver in qualifying by, I think it was some 8/10s. Let's have a look. It was 7/10 to be exact, and he's got a really good marker to follow here. He can follow his lines, hit his braking points, and Charlie Eastwood. This will really help him just dial himself in and get straight up to speed. Has had a win this year, and so in the Americas. And Charlie Eastwood, just have to say, he's a driver in good form, but like many drivers out there, it's been a while since they've actually had a race. But this is really going to help that TF Sport car try and climb up some positions, because in terms of the pro teams that are actually running, they're the lowest one, unfortunately. Of course, we have that AF Corsa car, which is out of the race, sadly. But other than that, they're the ones that are lowest down. So they've got some work to do here. Charlie Eastwood's going to try and get to work straight away. Through turns number 8 and 9, they go out towards T10. Kleen 8.4 seconds ahead of Schiller. Gap has been around 7-8 seconds for a long time now. Got to be careful with track limits there, though. Now we have driver 1, car 59, under investigations for safety conditions. Well, we were on board with Miguel Ramos. He would have known that. So it's a very strange time to be taking risks. It looked like he took his seatbelt off to me, or at least was unstrapping something. As we look here at Kleen coming into the chicane. Using all the curb there to help him round. Very smooth, very comfortable, isn't he, in the championship? He's driven a variety of different cars over the years as Christian Kleen, and he's been successful in pretty much all of them. But Charlie Eastwood, let's see now. Charlie Eastwood, he did a 144.8 on the last lap, and Christian Kleen did a 144.7. And those are the, well, they're pretty much the only two guys in the 144. I say that Nico Bastian, it's worth mentioning him. He did a 143. Nico Bastian, that is, in the number 47 HTP car. That's very impressive, actually, for Nico Bastian, considering they're down the field. He's taken over from Marcus Sattler. He's given that team a good chance to make some positions. This is Bastian that we go to now. In fact, this is the number 11, apologies. This is Fabian Schiller. The very distinctive Fabian Schiller, carrying a 10-second penalty. If that 10-second penalty is given to him at this lap, for example, if the flag went out this lap, no, it wouldn't. He'd stay second. Okay, into the pits then is the Bentley car. It's going to be Stefano Coletti out. Petru Razvan will go in. Real shame for them earlier. They will come in. Let's see where they get out. Stefano Coletti stayed in for a majority of the time. This is Pret switching with Negrao, the number 48 car. It's the course car. The Pro-Am class, of course. The AF Course Pro car, that's out of the race. As we look at Christian Clean once again being hassled here by Charlie Eastwood. Charlie Eastwood filling the mirrors now. Christian Clean, he wants to get through, doesn't he? Might feel he's getting delayed now. Fresher tyres, so why wouldn't you be? But Christian Clean's going to have to come in very shortly, and that is Schiller, who's handed over to Max. Over to Max, at least. There you can see suit matches car for Schiller, not quite for Max, but he'll jump in. We go back to Schiller, who's going to have to make his way now into pit lane. I suspect it's going to be on this lap that he decides to bail into the pits. 42 minutes into the race is when the flag will come in, so that's in 2.5 minutes time. So Clean, well, he'd have time for one more lap, to be fair. He might try and go for one more. I don't know if that'll be the case when he crosses the line. 1:45, 1:46 seconds, give or take, is a lap round here if we're being generous for any mistakes. But if he were to have some sort of incident with Eastwood behind, then he'd definitely not make it back in time. So not worth the risk, really. I think he'll bail in. Less than 2 minutes. In fact, I don't think he would have enough time. As expected, there he goes. So he's into the pits. That frees up Eastwood behind. And Christian Clean comes in. He's now going to hand over to Krupinski, who will jump in that car, the Polish driver. And let's see what he's able to do. I mean, Christian Clean couldn't do much more than give him the lead that he's given him. Now it's over to Krupinski to see if he is able to hang on to that lead. It's a pro driver handing over to an AM driver at the end of the day. He's not going to be able to repeat the place of Christian Clean. Down to experience more than anything else, but he will jump in now. Clean will belt him up and will be underway. Next car to come in then, this is going to be the number 7, Ollie Milroy. This is basically anyone that hasn't pitted will be coming in now. Milroy is going to hand over to Brendan Irib. It's the number 7 in. You can see to the left of your screen that Zadinsky's come in as well. Everyone having to come in. Lazowski is going to hand over that car to Stanislaw Zadinsky. Nearly a face to series. Number 5 for Olymp Racing. Good run so far today. New car for them in terms of the Pro-Am class. Driver swap will happen, but here comes your race leader out to track now. Krupinski in the car for them. This is where now we're going to see what is what in terms of gaps, positions, who is where, who's made places, who's lost places, who's made time and who's lost time at the same time. So once the remaining drivers in the pit lane come out, we will know. That is now driver swaps finished, so some people getting in just at the right time. I said driver 1 for car 59 and team manager to report to the stewards after the race. So that is Miguel Ramos, who's going to have to go to the stewards after the race. I haven't seen a penalty come up for him. Maybe that's going to be something investigated after the race, and any penalties will happen after the race as well. So Krupinski is leading. JP Motorsport in their first race in the championship, brand new team. They lead the way. Get a gap for you in a second. We're just waiting for Enrique Chavez to get past a couple of splits before we really know what the gap is. Chavez for that Teo Martin Motorsport team. This is Crestani, Fabrizio Crestani. He is in third, and the gap between he and Alan Kodair, who is in fourth, well, you can see it. I don't have to tell you, it is absolutely nothing, isn't it? So the gap between first and second, here we go. So first and second, 15.3 seconds. That's what the gap for Enrique Chavez. He's chasing down an ARM driver, so he's got a good chance of chasing that down. Second a lap faster, he'll make it. We'll run through the order as our leader crosses the line next time, but it's Patrick Krupinski who is leading the way for JP Motorsport. Enrique Chavez is in second place for Teo Martin Motorsport. Fabrizio Crestani is then third for Lazarus Racing in that Bentley. Fourth place then is Alan Kodair in the number 16 for Teo Martin Motorsport. That might become third very shortly. Fifth place is Brendan Irib for Optimum Motorsport. Then we have the number 11 of Get Speed Performance, Max in the car for them. TF Sport, they've moved up the field nicely, you have to say that. Since the pit stops, they've made a lot of places and a lot of time. Charlie Eastwood for TF Sport is 7th. Licky Lutweiler is the leading AM driver for PS Oberer. They are in 8th place overall. Jens Liebhauser is second in class in the number 44 for Get Speed Performance. And then we have Nico Bastian in the prime class. He is running at the top 10 in this current time. So for HTP. Behind that then is Patrick Razvan. He is in the other Lazarus car, which Stefano Coletti is handed over to him. They dropped down the field after being turned round earlier in the race. Then we have Stanislaw Zhedinsky. Behind that, he is currently in 12th place overall. Is Stanislaw Zhedinsky for Olymp Racing. Angelo Negro is next along in the number 48 AF Corsa. Alexei Nezov is then next in the number 13. Behind that then, that's for AKM Motorsport, by the way. Milowski, let's have a go at this one. Mikulasco, sorry. Zedno Mikulasco, he is out in the number 4 car in 15th place. Behind that then it is Louis Pret, the two DNFs, shall I say, Louis Pret and James Pickford. There we can see the Bentley going over the curbs. That number 4 car, by the way, ARC Bratislava Konopka started that race. It's now handed over to Mikulasco. This is your race leader. Now the gap has come down. Last time I told you it was just over 15 seconds, wasn't it? It's now 14.1 seconds, so it is coming down. And last time around, this won't be good news for the JP Motorsport team, but last time around, Enrique Chavez, who potentially is carrying a penalty, of course, after their earlier incident. Now, driver 1 for car 16 has been asked to report to the stewards. That is Alan Kodair. That is driver 1 and team manager. So there, that's second in Brian class, potentially carrying a penalty as well. Likewise for Enrique Chavez, who is leading pro driver and potentially leader overall. Not Enrique Chavez, it's Miguel Ramos that they want to speak to, along with the team manager from Teo Martin Motorsport. But we'll bring you the gap anyway, of course, so we don't know what's going to happen. It's come down on the last lap by 1.3 seconds. 12.7 it now is. Plenty of time on the clock. 23 minutes is still some distance, but this, the battle we are looking at is for third overall as they come in towards the left-hander here. The number 26 of Crestani being chased by Alan Kodair. 2 different classes, but fighting for position. This is Nicky Lutweiler now, the one at the head of the duo. And this is your battle for the lead in the AM class. It's actually very close, isn't it? It's only 0.6 here. Nicky Luttweiler has remained in that car. Liebhauser has jumped in and has taken over from Florian Schultz. 2 outdrivers. I expect a significant difference, or an obvious difference, judging on the class of driver. But this is going to be an interesting one now, isn't it? So, things to watch out for. We've got the battle for the lead, the provisional lead, shall I say, which is between Krupinski and the under investigation car number 59. That gap is coming down over a second a lap. We've got 22 seconds to go with 22 seconds. We've got 22 minutes to go with the gap at 12.4 seconds. You'd expect that to come down and to possibly change as well. Then we've got the battle for third overall, which is on screen for you. Crestani versus Alan Kodair, and then the battle for the outclass lead, sorry, which is on screen for you now. Nicky Luttweiler versus Jens Liebhauser. So battles across all 3 classes, really. We're watching. Going to keep an eye on all of them throughout the race. The closest battle is that battle we were just with. I said this one is pretty close as well, isn't it? Both of them less than a second. This one half a second, the other one just 0.2. As around the penultimate corner we come now. Alan Kodair continuing to pile the pressure on Fabrizio Crestani. Lazarus versus Teo Martin Motorsport in that order as they come across the line now, make their way down the start-finish straight. In the background, IRIB is actually coming under some pressure from Charlie Eastwood. That'll be one to keep an eye on, because that is a recovering TF Sport car. Charlie Eastwood trying to get past. This is the number 28. Whoopsie daisy, and that's the second time, unfortunately, that the number 28 has been facing the wrong way. This time, that was self-inflicted. Here comes a move. This was for the lead in the AM class, and it wasn't made too difficult, was it, for Jens Liebhauser, who now goes through to take the lead away from Nicky Luttweiler. Nico Bastian in the process went past Luttweiler as well. So Jens Liebhauser for the number 44 Get Speed Performance team is now the leader, and that is a stranded Bentley, isn't it? That unfortunately is a stranded Lazarus Racing car. They haven't been able to get back going just yet. Petru Razvan is tumbling down the order. So their day goes from bad to worse. Stefano Coletti turned round earlier. Petru Razvan having a spin all on his own, and that, I think, could end the race for those guys. They haven't. I don't think they picked up any damage. I just think Petru Razvan, not too sure if he's struggling to get that car going. We'll find out very shortly. But the yellow flags are going to come out. I wonder if we'll see a safety car with it. Yes, we do. I saw a safety car board there, and the safety car is on standby. Are we going to see it come out onto the track? This is going to close up the field. This is going to make for a very interesting... Yes, indeed. So safety car out. Safety car is indeed out. And now we're going to see the field close right up. There is the number 28 Lazarus car with Petru Razvan in it. And they've not been able to get going again. So I wonder if there was any kind of problem involved in that. This is not good news for these guys, though. All the hard work done by Christian Klein is now going to be undone, because the safety guy is going to close the field right up again, and Krupinski is going to have his hands full, not only with the likes of Enrique Chavez in that Teo Martin Motorsport car, but also the likes of the 26 Lazarus Racing car. Alan Kodair and the other Teo Martin Motorsport car is going to be just behind that as well. And we're going to have the rest of the field all queuing up behind, including Brendan Irib in that Optimum Motorsport car. Well, 18 minutes, quite literally rubbing my hands together, just over 18 minutes to go, and safety car out. The field is going to be bunched up. We're going to have the battle for the overall lead. The Pro-Am class could be quite exciting as well, because Krupinski is the AM driver. He's going to be under pressure from Chavez and Crestani, who won't want to waste any time in getting through, and we go on board with Krupinski now. The other Pro-Am cars, Alan Kodair and Brendan Irib, and then potentially a chance for Nicky Luttweiler to try and have a go back at Jens Liebhauser. It just seems Luttweiler is struggling for pace over Liebhauser, who was half a second quicker last time there at race pace. So Nicky Luttweiler could, his podium position could come under threat from the likes of Angelo Negro in the AF Corsa machine, as well as Alexei Nezov, who will want to change that 4th place up into a top 3 for AKN Motorsport. And that is some very concerned faces, I think, in the JP Motorsport garage. Well, they'll be hoping that this is a 17-minute plus a lap safety car, won't they? But that's not going to be the case. This one won't be out for long at all. Well, it won't take a huge amount to clear that one off. But what a shame it's been. They qualified 7th in the 28 Lazarus Racing. Coletti got it up to 2nd within a lap or 2. And after being turned around, it's just gone from bad to worse. So Koprinski will pick up the safety car very shortly. There's walking away there, Petru Razvan. Sure, a very disgruntled Petru Razvan. Real shame for the team. Here we go, too much curb, round she goes. And that was the end of that one, wasn't it? Maybe some further problems. That caused that car from not going any further, but the spin, that was all his own fault, unfortunately. There's the safety car. Drivers are going to pick that one up now, and just over 15 minutes on the clock remaining. We'll call the order for you once we get everyone across the line and run through exactly what the situation is here in terms of the safety car. Now that is the number 5 Olymp Racing car, which has found itself tucked into 2nd. 2nd in terms of the queue behind the safety car. That reminds you of something, doesn't it? A driver sat on a little deck chair. This time it's I believe it's Petru Razvan. So not quite Fernando, not quite trying to get a tan on, but not far off it. And well, this is on board now with Patrick Koprinski. I think he'll be looking in his mirrors more than he will going forwards once the race gets underway. Because he really is going to have his hands full here once the race gets going. That's a very confident Lazarus team. This couldn't have worked out any better for them. They have a car out. Real shame it is for them. But their other car is sat third in terms of overall positions. The leader is Pro-Am, so that with the Am driver in, and Chavez's car, that's under investigation, and that will be looked into after the race, and it's very hard not to see a podium going their way after it looked as if we had Miguel Ramos kind of fiddling with his seatbelts a little bit. But Fabrizio Crestani, he will be hoping that he can get through and into the lead here in the final 15 minutes or so that we have left. He's looking for his 3rd win in the championship. Is Fabrizio Crestani. 21 podiums. He was the overall champion back in 2016. And get off to a very good start. He won that championship with Lazarus Racing as well. So he returns to them. Did 2 seasons with them in 2016 and 2017 as well. And a very successful single-seater driver, actually, was Crestani. Got the way into GP2. 3 seasons in that, a couple of which included racing with Lazarus. And I believe one of those wins he actually had around one of the wins he's had in International GTOpen was indeed this track as well. Might be my mind talking to me. I think it is. But Crestani, he's not had a huge amount of wins, you have to say, but he's had enough. And well, he's only had the couple, isn't he? He's had enough podiums, though. And this is a real chance for Fabrizio Crestani to get a third win. And the Lazarus team know that. This has worked out very, very well for them. We complete 31 laps as we come across the line this time. There we look at the number 16. That is Alan Kodair. He's got a chance here at a Pro-Am win. He took the win in 2018. Did Alan Kodair. Can he make it a double? Let's wait and find out. Got a good chance, though. All he has to do really is wait for Enrique Chavez and Fabrizio Crestani to open up the door. I say all this talking against Krupinski, but I'm going off lap times, and the lap times suggest that Chavez and Crestani are going to come straight past. After that, we'll have to wait and see what happens, but he was over a second slower than Chavez and Crestani. But all will be revealed very shortly. We're close to clearing that stranded Bentley from the circuit. Once it is gone, safety car will return into the pits, and we will be off, away and racing once again. You can see the order to the left of your screen. Pro-Am team leads, but for how long? And then once that Pro-Am car is potentially passed by Chavez and Crestani, we've got two more Pro-Am cars waiting, and they will be hoping to steal victory. We haven't talked enough, I don't think, about Brendan Irib either in the number 7. This could be a good day for Optimum Motorsport. Took the win at Red Bull Ring last year to add themselves to one of 6 teams who took overall wins, Pro-Am class for them this year. Let's see if Brendan Irib can add to those victories and get them off to a fast start in 2020. Brendan Irib, who is alongside Ollie Milroy this season. Ollie Milroy, the pro in that combination. And there's a good chance that this might be the last lap under safety car, given those pictures. So cars now around the final corner. 10 minutes remaining in this one. Do not go anywhere, because this is going to be a very exciting final 10 minutes to the race. Looking at the lap times, the top 10 are all on the same lap. So there's plenty of chances for some big changes here. After that, they're all a lap down, except for Petru. Well, Petru Razvan's out the race, isn't he? But after that, they're a lap down. But from Patrick Krupinski for JP Motorsport down to Nicky Leutwiler, racing by himself in that car, all of them on the same lap. Plenty of changes could happen here. It's going to be a very exciting end to the first race of the season. 15th annual running of the International GTOpen since we started in 2006. It is fantastic to get it started here at the Hungaroring. Brilliant circuit. Very popular circuit with drivers. Speaking to the organisers earlier, they say the drivers absolutely love this one. Hard to overtake at times. I mean, I think we all know that, but a very good track to drive on. Our 5th time racing at the Hungaroring during those 15 seasons. Who's going to be the 5th winner? We'll find out over the next 10 minutes or so. Safety car is coming in this lap, so we get ready to go racing once again in the opening round of the International GTOpen. Patrick Krupinski for JP Motorsport is going to be the leader when they cross the line. He is heading the queue as well. We have Olymp Racing tucked in there as well, so they're not in the order that they sit in after that in terms of positions, but the driver leading them across the line, of course, will be our overall race leader, Patrick Krupinski. Lights are out on the safety car, and I tell you what, Koprinski's not really giving the safety car a lot of room here. To give him some space eventually, but he will want to get his foot down as quickly as possible, because behind there, cue him up, and he's gone already. Well, he's put his foot down very, very early there, and Koprinski, as they come down the start-finish straight, oh, look at the gap. Well, has he gone too early? I think the others are trying not to pass the safety car. Koprinski has gone. Koprinski now heads down towards turn number 1, and behind there, 3, 4 across here as they're all trying to get into turn number 1. Some of these will be battles for position there, as we can see the number 48 running a little bit wide as they make their way now through turn number 1. We've got the likes of Chavez and Crestani who are going to be battling away with each other here as we go on board down towards the second hairpin. Got Koprinski's absolutely down the road here. That was definitely something that was planned, surely. Koprinski wanted to get away ASAP, and he's done that. He's got a bit of a gap now. The gap is 3 seconds here to Enrique Chavez. Let's remember, he was around just over a second slower than Enrique Chavez, and we're not going to have very many laps remaining, are we, as they now make their way around turn 5 and into the turn 6, 7 chicane. Chavez said, oh dear, that's a big one. That's the number 5 Olymp Racing car. That could be the end of the race, actually. I think Koprinski's going to get off with this one. They're going to be very lucky, potentially. And I think it's almost meant to be the win for JP Motorsport. Safety car is out. Olymp Racing with a big one. Stanislaw Jadinski in that car. Let's have a look at how it happened there. Into turn number 5. Oh, they were gone early. Oh, big smash. That's a big accident for Olymp Racing. Stanislaw Jadinski there. Let's hope that, well, he's out the car, and that's the main thing to see, isn't it? Hopefully we get another look at that one, because he'd spun very early, but that is a tough task for the Olymp Racing team to get that one fixed and out again for tomorrow. I don't know if he was actually tagged there, or if that was just a mechanical failure, but that was a big smash for Stanislaw Jadinski. Glad to see him out of the car and okay. Car in a very different state to the driver though. And to be honest, I see that being the end of the race. I can't see us getting back out again in the next 5 minutes. I think the race is going to end under safety car. And, Patrick Koprinski, I don't think he's going to have to contest with any laps of trying to defend. Well, there you can see what it's done to the barriers. The barriers didn't get away very well with that one. I think that's telling of how big that incident was. There you see the stranded Olymp Racing car, and with the barriers damaged as well, I don't know if that decision might come into play, that they might just decide to call this one a day. The truck will come out now to recover the car. I'm sure the talks, the control will be being asked. They may just run out the clock anyway, rounds for the final few laps. But a real shame to see a huge incident at the start of the restart there. There is Stanislaw Jadinski. He will not take the checkered flag for the Olymp Racing team. Just under 4 minutes left on the clock now, and that could be a lot. It's Koprinski, of course, leading for JP Motorsport. There he is. Enrique Chavez with Teo Martin Motorsport second. The other Teo Martin Motorsport car third. We have Fabrizio Crestani. I think we're going to have another look at this from a different angle. So there is Olymp Racing, and was that already? They look like they're slowing up to me there. Uphill we go, and oh, were they tagged slightly, or was that? Well, that's hard to tell, but I'm not sure if they were tagged slightly or if that was just a mechanical failure. It was definitely a little bit of side by side. If there was rubbing or contact, but it looked like the problem started a corner earlier than that. And I think the JP Motorsport, the conversation in that garage is, why haven't they just called it a day yet? I think they're thinking that that should be the end of the race. I mean, we're going to have, that last lap was 2 minutes and 49 seconds up behind the safety car. You look at the top left of your screen, there isn't that left, is there? So if they did get racing there, well, there'd only be there'd only be one lap to go before this would be judged the last lap. I don't think we're going to see an Olymp racing car that's been safely taken off the track next time they round turn number 3. A real shame that the 15th season of the International GTOpen, the opening race, will end under safety car, but it was a brilliant race before that. Fantastic action all the way through, but a real shame that sadly we have had a big accident for the Olymp racing team, and there is confirmation. I think the confirmation all of us were expecting, that the race will indeed finish under safety car conditions. On this lap as well. Well, it's been an eventful race, to say the least, hasn't it? Lots of action going on in International GTOpen. Forecasts sadly aren't going to make the end of it, but other than that, we've had great racing at times, some incidents to deal with as well. And out front, well, we didn't expect, with the way the gap was coming down before the safety car, when the safety car came out, we didn't expect it even more, that Krupinski was going to be able to hold on to the lead. But this has now been classified the final lap, and it was almost meant to be, wasn't it? As the cars will now make their way down through turn 8, 9, 10, 11. Out of 11 they go. And Patrick Krupinski will be a very relieved man inside that car to hear that the checkered flag will be waved this time around. And for a new team in their first race in International GTOpen, they could not be getting off to a better start, could they? They are going to take the race win. Number 59 will be provisionally first in class and second overall in the pro class behind. It's going to be a pro-am podium for Alan Kodair. We've got Kristani Iron as they make their way now up to the final corner. And round the final corner, well, it's perhaps not the way they would have wanted to end with a race win, but Patrick Krupinski is going to take the first race win of the season. He and Christian Kleen for JP Motorsport in the Pro-Am class win the overall race. It's a win in the Pro class for Enrique Chavez. They can't believe it in there. JP Motorsport absolutely delighted. They take the overall victory. Provisionally, Enrique Chavez and Miguel Ramos will win the Pro class and finish second overall. It's an overall podium and second in Pro-Am for Alan Kodair in the number 16 Teo Martin Motorsport car, Fabrizio Crestani and Yannick Mettler in the first full season for the Bentley Continental GT3. They are going to finish fourth with a podium, second in class. It's going to be third in Pro-Am class. A podium for Optimum Motorsport. Their switch to the McLaren has paid off. Charlie Eastwood gets a podium in the Pro class for TF Sport. I'd say more than a podium, of course, given to what's happened to the other pro drivers. A good recovery for them. They finished 6th overall. Nico Bastian then for 47. HTP, here Marcus Sattler from 14th on the grid, finishing 7th place. Long-time race leader Nicky Luttweiler and Am dropped behind Jens Liebhauser towards the end of the race. It's Liebhauser who's finished 8th overall and takes a win in the AM class. He and Florian Schultz working together. Nicky Luttweiler on his own finishes in 9th. Max finishes in 10th place. Max, who partnered Fabian Schiller. Then we have Alexei Nezov, 3rd in the AM class. Nezov there doing a great job in the number 13 car. He and Alexander Mosey finish in 11th overall from 17th on the grid. Good driving from AKM Motorsport, and it's Mikuláško who is in 12th place. Then we have Angelo Negrão, and then on finishes, unfortunately, Stanislaw Legzinski for Olymp Racing right at the end there, going into the barriers. Petru Razvan brought out the safety car just before that. He and Stefano Coletti, both of them having problems. Coletti turned round earlier in the race, and then behind that, Razvan, with a mistake coming into turn 4, found himself facing the wrong way and out of the race. Louis Pretz and James Pickford, both of those guys exiting early for the race. A disappointing return for AF Corsa. And the number 72 Optimum Motorsport car, sadly not getting past lap number 1. But this was the moment that we saw JP Motorsport take the win. Big celebrations inside their garage as well. There you can see Christian Kleen with the race suit on, absolutely delighted with that one. And they are our first overall winners of the 2020 season. There is Krupinski pulling into that first slot. I don't think they would have expected to be there, but they've made it to the end, and a fantastic performance from the team. Christian Kleen putting in a fantastic stint to build a lead of 8 seconds, and hand it over to Krupinski, who did the rest. There's no doubt that that double safety car didn't play into their favour at first when the first one came out, but the second one certainly did. And they are the first race winners of 2020. Patrick Krupinski jumps out of the car. Will be absolutely delighted with that. 59 will be provisionally second. They're under investigation, but Enrique Chavez and Miguel Ramos finished second overall, winning the pro class, and Alan Kodair third. There you can see celebrations for Patrick Krupinski. Absolutely over the moon. Brilliant start to the season for them. All the hard work that must have been put in for the team to get themselves ready for this. And there's Christian there celebrating with teammate Patrick Krupinski. People are going to get advice for restarts for him, because there's been nothing come up, actually. No warnings come up to him about that restart. Absolutely nailed it, didn't he? Got a huge gap. I thought he kind of passed the safety car before it properly came into the pits, but there we go. Top 3 then. Third place, the number 16. Alan Kodair brought that home for them to finish a very respectable third. From 11th on the grid, Marcelo Hahn starting the race. Miguel Ramos and Enrique Chavez finish in second place and take the overall win, or take the win, sorry, in the pro class. Overall winners were these guys. Patrick Krupinski for JP Motorsport alongside Christian Kleen. It's a Pro-Am car that takes the overall win.
It's quite a special day today in the international GTOpen, as we have a new team coming to the series, winning straight away race 1 with Patrick Krupinski and Christian Kleen and JP Motorsport, a new team. This is a sensational performance, Christian.
Absolutely. I mean, this is almost a dream come true. A couple of months ago, the team wasn't even there. We just built it up in a very quick time, and first of all, the finish on the pole position, and then winning the race together is just amazing and great for the whole team. Yeah.
And Patrick, this is basically your first big GT3 international race.
Yeah, this is my first big race, but this is Christian. He made a big performance for me, and I need to break the car only back to the box. But this is very good performance for all the team.
Well done. Enjoy the moment. This is very special. Congratulations.
Thank you. Get some pictures.
The 15th annual season of the International GT Open will be led away from pole position by Christian Klein for JP Motorsport, the brand new Pro-Am team. They're leading the way as we saw the two Bentleys there for Lazarus Racing, the returning Lazarus Racing going either side of the provisional race leaders. Sadly, we'd have an incident right on the first lap, cars being turned round, which would take Louis Pret and James Pickford. Sadly, they would be out of the race on the first lap there for another returning team in AF Corsa and Optimum Motorsport. This was on board with Miguel Ramos, who was passed by a fast-charging Fabian Schiller, who was making huge progress in the early stages, was Fabian. That was unfortunately the incident where Fabian turned round Lazarus Racing driver Stefano Coletti, who had got himself up to second place. Lots of side-by-side action. That was the moment Ollie Milroy eventually made his way up a position. Then we had the pit stops, drivers coming in, new drivers getting in the cars. This was the moment the race leaders came in. Christian Klein there handing over to Patrick Krapinski, and then everyone was looking at the time. This was where the first safety car was brought out. That was the 28 Lazarus Racing car that took a spin. Petru Razvan in for them. Then we got the race underway. Everyone was wondering how long it would take Patrick Krapinski to lose the race lead, but as you see, he got he got a really good restart, got a big gap with it, and behind it was everyone dicing with each other. And unfortunately, that would be the last we saw in terms of racing. Big accident for Olymp Racing coming up towards turn number 4, and that would be the end of the race, as we would end under safety car conditions, and it would be a Pro-Am team that took the overall win. JP Motorsport winning from Teo Martins Motorsports Pro team, and their Pro-Am team finishing in third place.
Unglaublich. Geiler Restart. Super job.
Overall winner of this race.
So podium celebrations now underway. Top 3 coming up on to the podium. There we can see our overall winners. JP Motorsport now making their way to the first step. And third place team now coming up onto the podium. We have Alan Kodair coming up there onto the podium with his teammate Marcelo Hahn. 11th on the grid for them. Fantastic job for them. We've got Enrique Chavez and Miguel Ramos to the left of picture as well. And the representative, of course, as well for JP Motorsport. They take the overall win.
Congratulations to the winner pair of Patrick Krapinski and Christian Klein.
There we can see our winners in the middle of the shot, Patrick Krapinski and Christian Klein for JP Motorsport. They take the overall win from Miguel Ramos and Enrique Chavez, and then Marcelo Hahn and Alan Kodair. So whilst they will pick up their own trophies, restrictions mean that trophies won't be handed to them. Trophies already there. So third place overall, Marcelo Hahn and Alan Kodair for Teo Martin Motorsports.
And now it's time for the second position pair to grab your
second place. Then next along we have the Teo Martin Motorsport team of Enrique Chavez and Miguel Ramos. They're under investigation post-race though. And then the winning team, brand new team in their first race, first big race for Patrick Krapinski. He and Christian Klein win the first round of the season.
And the winning team is JP Motorsport.
JP Motorsport winning the overall race, of course, in terms of teams. It's brilliant stuff for them. And we'll now get a couple of pictures for the drivers leave the podium. I don't think some drivers want to get that close and others do. And there we go. That's not the usual picture, isn't it? But it'll do. First round of the season. It's taken a long time to get there. That's Christian straight after JP Motorsport boss. But finally, we have a podium celebration in International GT Open. It's taken a while, isn't it? But we are finally back again. And first race done and dusted. That was your third place car, Fabian Schiller, Marcelo, Hahn. Second place, Miguel Ramos and Enrique Chavez. Behind that then, Patrick Koprinski. Behind that, well, Patrick Koprinski, sorry, Christian Klein, the two winners in the Pro-Am class. We're going to have a Pro-Am podium, so we'll see them back now as well. We'll see, of course, Kodair and his teammate Marcelo Hahn back as well. But with it, we will also see the drivers who finished 5th overall, and there they are. We're ready to go up onto the podium now. Optimum Motorsports, Ollie Milroy, and Brendan Irib. Brendan to the left, and Ollie Milroy to the right. So, two teams will welcome back onto the podium, but Optimum Motorsport now will welcome onto the podium for them. We'll have an AM podium that follows as well, and that will be us done for all the action here on Saturday at the International GT Open. Trophies, I think, are just being prepared, and then after that we should be ready to go. But looks like we're starting to have the drivers come out, so we'll welcome first Alan Kodair and Marcelo Hahn. Not the usual order we go in, but that's the furthest away. Step on the podium. So the winners come out next then. Christian Klein and Patrick Koprinski come out next.
And third position.
And our third position drivers, first time we welcome them onto the podium today. Perhaps not the last in terms of the season. I'm sure we'll see them on here a few more times. Brendan Irib coming out on to the podium with his teammate Ollie Milroy for Optimum Motorsport.
Nice job, guys. Well done.
They don't know whether to shake hands or fist pump. Oh, it's a strange world at the moment, isn't it? Strange podium celebrations. But, they worked it out in the end. So, first of all, third in the Pro-Am class, 5th overall.
Very good.
Brendan Irib, Ollie Milroy.
To the second position pair
Optimum
of
Motorsport.
Marcelo Hahn and Adam Kodair.
Then Marcelo Hahn and Alan Kodair, second in the Pro-Am class. Overall podium as well for Terra Martin Motorsport. Started 11th on the grid. Really, really impressive performance from them to make their way up to third. If only they started high. And if they'd given the two pro drivers a run for their money, Enrique Chavez and Miguel Ramos. And there's your winners, double winners, Patrick Koprinski, Christian Klein. Now we have the awkward moment whether they stand together or stand separately. I think it's advisable that they stand in the positions that they are.
Many of you have quite champagne overall. Please use your bottles accordingly.
And now the champagne celebration. I believe we do have an AM podium to follow this, as long as we have the time to. There will be one regardless. Hopefully we'll be able to bring it to you as well, because it was a late change in that race. And we will indeed have the AM podium come up as well. Two of the AM teams in the top 10. Impressive stuff, I have to say. But the top 3 in the AM class, third in AM, was the number 13 team. Alexei Nezov finished the race for that team. That's AKA Motorsport. They've started 17th, moved up to 11th. Sorry, second was Nicky Lutweiler. Did a great job, but it happened quite late. But taking the win in that car wasn't the car you're seeing on screen. It was Jens Liebhauser and Florian Schultz for Get Speed Performance. So trophies will be put out. Too many trophies to carry, isn't there, for JP Motorsport?
Now it's time for the last podium ceremony of this day,
last podiums now.
AM category.
First of all, we will welcome AKM Motorsport. We'll welcome Alexei Nezov and Alexander Moseev. They won't come out on the podium first, of course. Second will come out first, and that will be Nicky Lutweiler. No teammate with him. He'll come out all on his own. So there's Nicky, the only Porsche in the field as well. Represents it very well, didn't he? Second in class, top 10. Can't complain with that. But our race winners in the AM class coming out onto the podium now. The Get Speed Performance drivers are Florian Schultz and Jens Liebhauser. Change that happened pretty late on into the race. Third in the AM class, just outside of the top 10, 11th up from 17th, AKM Motorsport, Alexei Nezov and Alexander Mosiev.
Congratulations, guys. Your cups are behind you on the podium. So it's time to grab
trophies behind them, and they'll be asked to lift those trophies now. So we will start with third place, and that is Alexander Mosiev and Alexei Nezov for AKM Motorsport. Good drive by them.
And now it's time
gained a few places.
Driver to grab his
doing it all on his own in seconds. Nicky Lutweiler faded away slightly in the second half, but yeah, I can't expect that. And then your winners, of course, in the AM class were Jens Liebhauser in the 44 with teammate Florian Schultz. That's about it, unfortunately, for today. International GT Open is finally underway for 2020, and we're going to do it all again tomorrow. Qualifying will be live local time here at 10:15, and then we'll go racing at 2:20. Don't forget to join us as well for GT Cup Open Europe at midday and Euro Formula Open at 1:20. Have a good evening. That's all from us here at the Hungaroring. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow.
I can tell you, don't drink it, spray it. It's not tasty. Maybe it's not champagne. Yes, very good. Congratulations, well done, guys. You are slow with the session, but you are quick with the car, and I think that's a good equation. It's better to be quick with the car and slow with the champagne. Congratulations, guys, and thank you very much. See you tomorrow, maybe on the podium again. And it's over for today. So we'll continue, or we can next, I mean tomorrow, next day, yes, tomorrow, with again 3 qualifyings and 3 races.